Hi, everyone, and welcome. This is Will I Ever Be Happy? Finding Joy Amidst Depression and Anxiety. And today we have this beautiful, wonderful mentor who supports and challenges entrepreneurs and CEOs through unconventional approaches. She teaches them how to master the game of life. She uses mindfulness tools to help them master mind, body, and soul connection. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ms. Zoey Annabelle. How are you today?
Oh, thank you so much, Monica. It's beautiful to be here, and hello to everyone tuning in.
I'm so happy to have you here. Would you like to tell the audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit of your background and your field exactly?
So I'm originally from England and Wales. I'm in Australia now. I moved here 26 years ago, and my path was very much about having direct experiences of experiencing mental illness from different diagnoses, same with pain in the body. So I experienced depression, anxiety, PTSD in the body, a lot of body image issues, and eating disorders, and really not really feeling in my body, in my skin. And what this process did, it took me down a path of following the pain of what was being offered there in the conventional methods wasn't giving me what I needed. So it took me on this path of learning how to heal myself from the inside out. I have a 26-year background in nursing, and even worked a lot in mental health as well. And even I understood the patients, and even my approaches of empowering and inspiring people was ridiculed and reprimanded within the system. So I found myself working in a system that didn't really was seeing mental health in a very backward way, that wasn't really giving people the tools to shift. So in 2017, I got kicked out, and it was in that time I'd been following my passions of, I got into yoga. I started to meditate after my marriage. I left my marriage and I had another rock bottom. And I say another rock bottom because it was my third rock bottom of hitting ground zero, of realizing I needed to be the change for me. And yeah, so I had a lot of adversity, and I learned to become resourceful, to integrate and have practices which became a structure of my day. Apparently, I've been diagnosed with bipolar as well, and ADHD, and I see that as a gift as well. I see everything as a gift and an opportunity to learn about ourselves, and to learn how to navigate our different shifting in emotions. And yeah, so I feel blessed to have had the direct experience and then study what I needed to study to then obviously be able to support others, mind, body, spirit.
Wow, that's amazing. You know, that's how I guess you can prove that you're in a good place, because you're not looking at your diagnoses and your tumultuous experiences as something negative, but as a challenge and a blessing even. So that is beautiful to hear, and inspiring, I think. Just to know that you can go not just from a place of just comfort, to say the least, and then rise all the way up to, I feel so good. I want to share this with others. I want to learn more about it, and I want to help others like myself. So I think that's beautiful. And thank you for that. Thank you. And so that's how you got into your field. Would you like to tell everybody a little bit more about what you do and what it entails?
Yes, so I've worked with many different people over the years, and it's been very much who relates and resonates with what I'm talking about. They usually come to me, and very recently I've been, okay, I need to refine this. And I see so many people out there in life, especially entrepreneurs as well, and CEOs, that are very like control driven, very like, and what they find challenging is how to switch off, which is, again, it's a process of learning how to trust. And so I help people to rewire their nervous system regulation, working with practices to get them out of the overthinking mind that's often, you know, like go, go, go. When they do take their foot off the brake, then they're beating themselves up behind closed doors. And it's really hard for someone to admit that. And guiding them how to go into their body. So I work a lot with the body intelligence, with yoga, with ways to release the emotions by putting someone into a posture. And, you know, even talking about spiritual experience, people can't understand that until they've gone into the body, i.e., like you said, Monica, sit in the discomfort. So I take them into where they don't want to go. Pain was my addiction. I had an addiction to pain because and this sounds really weird, but to feel pain was a shift, a feeling beyond numbness. And so many people are numb and trapped in their bodies. So we need to go into the levels of discomfort to learn how to understand the messages. So then we can release the emotions, happiness, joy, but we can't feel that unless we go into the experience of sadness, of grief, of all those emotions. And I feel every emotion. So I give people a way so they can bring every emotion to the table, have permission to put every emotion at the table as not good or bad or right or wrong, but to give them that, shine light onto that emotion.
I love that. Give them permission.
Yeah, permission to, hey, let's invite shame in, let's invite guilt in. And, you know, my biggest thing was, I'm unlovable. Why does everyone leave me? And when we look at things like anxiety and depression, it's that disconnection from the present. So anxiety is a fear of the future. Depression is constantly focusing on the past. And so I encourage people to put down their story, to stop talking about their story, to see that as a beautiful experience, a blessing, which is showing them an invitation to go deeper into self. Yeah. So that's what I do.
Wow.
If that makes sense. I want to make it really relatable. So in that, then you have.
It didn't make any sense to me at all. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, it's like it's like then you have a relationship with yourself, an intimate relationship with yourself. And only then can you truly let down those walls, to have that letting go of control and surrendering into your most loving relationships. Otherwise, you constantly feel that you're there, but you're not there. Does that make sense?
So, so you talk about allowing ourselves to experience the discomfort of whatever it is we're feeling, right? The anxiety or the depression or the trauma. And then you say, give yourself permission to feel this. And then you say, let it go. Or
well, what happens then is you invite in the emotion, and you know it. How can I explain it? It's almost like, it's not about sitting with it. You have practices. So I can give you one practice now to really assist you with being present. And it's like, if someone had told me 12 years ago to practice mindfulness when I was very stuck in my head, my response was, it was about 12 years ago, I was like, give me a gun. I need to silence it. Please don't ask me to go and look at what's happening in my mind. I was already drowning on the inside. What I needed was a life raft, a practice to then feel a little bit, a moment of stillness, a moment of, okay, I'm safe. I have a place I can always come back to, even though everything feels chaotic around me. The last thing you want to do is even go into your mind and look at your thoughts if you're feeling really out of control on the inside.
So you have techniques, you said, to help to help give
Yes.
relief or stillness, you said, which in my mind, I think would give them
Yes,
relief.
so I'll share two of them. One is a yoga posture of when you feel yourself spiraling out of control and spinning out, that's when, you know, everyone's heard of the amygdala switch, where you go into that fight or flight, and it's horrible. You feel it's a very scary place to feel in. Anxiety can feel like that as well, you know, where they're usually someone when they're anxious, they're holding their breath, and they're like, just like exhale out, exhale out, exhale out. Focus on breathing out. The breathing focus is being totally opposite to what it needs to be. It's not about breathing in, it's about breathing out. When we can breathe out, then we flip. The body will naturally, instinctively breathe in, so it fills up. But we have to focus on breathing out. So a posture, when people feel themselves spinning, is to come into child's pose. If you're in a safe place, and I can put a picture in there, but very, very simply, it's what a child does when a children's body wisdom is so powerful when we observe it. So when a child is on the floor and they're having this meltdown and they're screaming and they're on their hands and their knees and they're just going, ah, and then they just drop on the floor, and their forehead, this part of their forehead near where their third eye is on the ground, and they're just like, then their knees are usually, or their knees are apart, their toes are together, and that's child's pose where, and I can put a picture in there, but if you think of a child having a tantrum and then they fall on the floor and they're almost like sitting, their bottom to their heels, but that body's like this and their forehead's resting down, it flips the amygdala switch within a few moments. So you go from panic and overwhelm to start to feeling calm. And when someone's there, the other thing that I would say to do, which is another practice, the roof of your palate, you get your tongue and you bend it back, place it on the roof of the palate, mouth is closed. Breathe in and out of the nose, because again, that taps into the parasympathetic nervous system, so calms down. Keep that tongue on the roof of your palate, and you're going to start to become more present. Present in this moment now, as now is all that exists. There is no past, there is no future, simply now.
That's an easy one.
It's a powerful point. It's a mama point. It's an energetic point. So what it does on a yogic level, it's one of the points that I get people to do with the meditation. So it brings them, it assists them, supports them to coming to single pointed awareness. And it doesn't happen overnight. You'll forget. It's like pelvic floor exercises. You're like, yeah, I'm doing them. And then you forget. And then you remember, and then you forget. And that's the process that's what we're doing. We're learning, remembering.
Yes, I have to write it down either in my agenda or put like a reminder, even, sometimes, when just to remind myself to take a break and
have time for you.
Have some time to do these techniques. So so for those of you listening out there, and you're not the first speaker to say it, I'm sure you guys are going to listen and you're going to be excited and you're going to do it the first few days and then you're going to forget. So for, all of you listening to Ms. Zoey Anna right now, and to all the other speakers, maybe it's a good idea if, one of these techniques really, resonates with you, to put it on your journal or your agenda, if you have one, or your calendar, or set a reminder, notification, and remind yourself to practice these techniques, because like you said, it's not an overnight cure, but it's something that they can do on a daily basis.
Yeah, you need to book that time in for you. You need to, anyone that's listening, until you start making you the number one meeting, like the most important meeting, block it out in your journal. You don't need to say what it is. You actually write intentionally. this is my most important meeting, as it is, because until you start to shift what is happening in here, mind, body, because it's connected, it can't be separated. Then when you go out into the world, you will have a divine reflection of what is happening on the inside. So when they say be the change, and we say this saying so loosely, but yeah, on a deep, deep level, it's really, it's a practice of self-love. What I guide people is how to have that commitment to yourself. So you do make especially if you're a parent, even before your children. And I've taught my children this, and what it's allowed them to see, that they start putting themselves first. So they've grown into courageous young teenage boys that think for themselves, that have totally different views to me. They laugh at me, and it's beautiful. But they're always listening, they're always watching, and they're like, they give me, but they're learning from that. And then they're confident in themselves because of that, because then you're not thinking, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You're really in your own space. And from
they're very fortunate to have you as, as a mother, as a mentor, and as someone to look at, because you're living example.
I am now. 12 years ago, that's when I looked at my life, and the reality then was our lives were going down the toilet, and I was creating it. They were like 2.5 and 3.5. I was spinning out of control, and I was outside, and I screamed at the universe, and everyone will relate. They will have moments that I had Vegemite down my arm, which is like Marmite. And I was like, is this? And I swore, I went effing it, and screamed at the universe, and was just like overwhelmed. And then when we have those moments, then in comes a message, in came the teacher that saw me. And I'd burnt every bridge. I'd burnt my relationships in my family. I've been playing so much the game of the victim for so long. It's who I thought I was. And I had to lose everything to then realize, okay, actually, I need to start looking at my stuff. I need to start, and it didn't happen overnight, but it was that daily, and I didn't want to do it, but it was that daily, it ends with me. I need to shift me. Otherwise, I'm going to continue to repeat dysfunctional habits in my family. And I'll be passing that on to my children. And there's funny stories. It wasn't overnight. I lost my shit a lot. And my kids tested me, and they became my teachers.
I think it's for all the moms listening can relate to that. Only knows I had my moments.
Yeah.
I was like, if I was an alien, or even my neighbor looking in on me right now, like, what would they think of this?
I know.
After you have those moments of despair, and like you said, there was days that I yelled myself, and I was like, and I'm like, oh my God, did anybody hear me? Like, what did I just, why did I just lose it so bad? And as I think there's also pockets where you're, where you can dip.
That's our humanness. That's our humanness, Monica. It is our humanness, and we need to forgive ourselves for that, because children are unconditional forgiveness. They see the best in us. And they need that real. So, if, it's that they've seen me fall on the heap in overwhelming tears, and they've witnessed that. And, how can we pull together as a family? How can we really support one another? And, we have this beautiful connection, because I haven't gone, I'm fine, pretending to keep my stuff together when I was doing the best I could. And
do they appreciate it?
They don't remember that.
They don't remember, but I'm sure deep down inside they do.
Well, yeah, they remember, you know, they set the vacuum cleaner on fire, you know, and they put my makeup brush in like black eyeshadow. And I was like, just keeping my stuff together. I was like, we just need to get out and go to this. I wanted to be around human connection. And I put on my makeup and my face went black. And I was like, yeah, like
Oh my
funny
heavens.
stories.
Oh my goodness. But look at you now. And
And
that's
I
something-
still have moments. We still have moments. So, we
course.
still, but doubt is what clouds your true essence of who you are.
Doubts when you doubt yourself.
Doubt, yeah. So when we do these little things for ourselves and we book time in, it is self-love. And then you start going, oh, you start having more faith in yourself. Because guaranteed most people beat themselves up behind closed doors. They're like, yeah, I'm happy. So it's sadness. Actually going into sadness is the key to super happiness, not simple happiness, but super happiness. Until you put sadness at the table and really honor it, you'll never understand what it is.
Yeah, and for anyone listening, I don't know if there is anyone listening where they haven't hit that rock bottom, like you were saying. Perhaps they can't connect 100% with the feeling of that ultimate despair where there's nowhere else to go. And you're just like, I have 2 kids, even though they're putting my makeup in the vacuum and I don't know what else is happening, but they rely on me, and I gotta pull myself out of this because there's nowhere else to go. Like you were saying, right? You were just
You surrender.
You surrender.
Even if that's we're ordering pizza and we're watching a movie and we're not stepping outside the house. That was the surrender. Of just this overwhelm of and then seeing what was in front of me, and having gratitude for these beautiful souls that were rambunctiously giving me this opportunity to learn about myself.
Well, I think that's amazing. And right before we started this interview, I asked you how you wanted to be introduced, and you said something, you help others to master the game of life. And I think it's really important, but also amazing how you went from 3 rock bottoms, where you even mentioned at one point, you said, just give me a gun. Like you were just, maybe you didn't mean it, but that's how you felt.
Yeah, it was more the silencing, like as an analogy, not actually saying that I was suicidal. It was an analogy of, please stop all of this and please don't ask me to go and look at it because I'm drowning in it.
And you went from drowning in it to now
having a little love, having a little life raft.
A life raft, yes, and referring to life as fun.
Yeah.
So and I think that's important to let the audience know that no matter where you are, where you think you are right now, and the pain that you might be feeling, you're a living testament that you can go from that all the way to life is fun and it's a game. So that's I think very inspiring to hear that. And you did mention you wanted to, or you're willing to give us a technique that we can all do at home.
Yes, I gave them. I snuck them in.
Yoga pose and
the child's pose, the mama, so the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and you can use that throughout the day. See how long you can keep, because it will come back down. Obviously, when you speak, it has to move, but you bring it onto the top roof of your palate and see how long you can be present with it being there, and notice what shifts in your day. You'll feel a lot calmer. If you're about to speak and go on stage, definitely do it. It will calm you, presence, and then you're not in that anxiety, depression. You start shifting it to being present with this moment right now.
That's great. I have not heard of that one. And so that seems
So
very
yogic.
simple to do. Okay.
Mhm.
So that's a yoga method. And I guess I always think of yoga as large movements of the body, but
Well, yeah, the large movements prepare the body. The art of yoga is actual meditation, and meditation is a state of awareness. So it's about it's a practice. It's a practice of removing the veils so we can start to see more clearly.
oh, wow. Yes. Clarity. I see your third
So
eye.
we can then, yeah, and then the more veils we remove, then the light that is within us that we, you know, that so many people, it's just covered up by all these layers. The layers are there for a reason, to stop you from waking up too soon. So the layers are playing fields. When I say mastering the game of life, you will go through playing fields of experiences to test you, to refine, to give you opportunity to knowing thyself. And then you'll go into another veil, like CD discs, like that.
Wow.
And that is the game of life. So we're that, you know, we have to go down to go up into the body.
That's amazing. So you gave us those three techniques. You said the tongue one, the child's pose, and then you said the breathing and focus on breathing out. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for
Even,
that.
yeah, a sigh that, it relaxes the diaphragm, so your breathing muscle. Most people are breathing upper chest. So the pattern is they haven't even learned how to breathe into their diaphragm, which is out into the side of the rib cage. But the diaphragm muscle goes into spasm, and it's a lot of people it's switched off, or it's held like this because it's connected with the fear response. So this and make it super yummy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So
Not just like
put your whole self into it.
make it sensual, make it super yummy, like you're nourishing yourself right now. Yeah. Notice how that feels. It's
I have
like,
to work on it a little.
yeah, because we get embarrassed and we get, you know, we get uncomfortable because we're not taught to do that. It's like, or why are you sighing? You know, where
And do a happy sigh.
you know,
Yeah, that's
but yeah,
amazing.
the breathing out.
Focus on the breathing out. And so you are kind enough and generous enough to put here on the chat for us, and everyone will have access to it also. Aside from the chat, if you're not able to get to it. So it's a recording, and it's a yogic sleep, yet you do not sleep.
Yeah, it's called a yoga nidra. So it's a recording. At the beginning of the recording, it will explain what it does. It's a beautiful introduction for learning how to meditate, and it will take you through ways to awareness within the body so you can have a deeper experience of relaxation. Because until you can learn how to relax, you're never going to be able, that's what precedes the state of meditation. You have to learn how to relax the body to be able to experience the state of meditation. And then the state beyond that is bliss states, absolute joy, 24/7, which is
imagine that, everyone, being in a blissful state 24/7. I would think that's everyone's ultimate goal. That's definitely my ultimate goal. I try to, you know, live in the moment as much as possible. It's not always easy. Like you said, we're all human and we have our moments. But I definitely try to be aware, you know, of my state, my feelings, and my emotions at every moment. So this is great. A lot of times, like you said, our brains are just gushing with so many thoughts.
They need rewiring.
Right, we don't always serve us, and so this is a wonderful tool to have and to practice, so that you can get to where you're saying relax your body. And then you're also giving us a 20% off that learn the mantra meditation. The link about meditation is the simplest and most powerful on the planet. And so you also put a link there for us.
Yeah.
So if any of this resonates with anybody here in the audience, please take advantage of this. The link is in the chat, and we're also gonna send it to you separately as well. You'll get an email with her gift, and I think that's great. I'm definitely gonna look into that myself, and I appreciate everything. I thank you for your time. Those of you that enjoyed listening to Ms. Zoey Anna, please remember you have the option to purchase all the tapes, the recordings. There's no tapes, all the recordings, and so that you can watch and listen to her again and get all this wonderful information, and listen to her breathing one more time. So I really thank you. Would you have any parting words for the audience?
Just that sometimes the first step can be the most challenging, and go courageously, be brave to take that first step. As usually the nervous system, you can be excited about doing something, and when it comes to it, things will happen that will stop you. Keep going into it, keep leaning into it, and take action on it. Because that initial thought that you got of, yeah, I want to go and do that, that's your truth. So go into that. Yeah, listen to it and honor it. Because, and have a support person that will call you out on it. So when you have that moment, say to someone, actually, I'm feeling this, I want to go and do this. So they can call you on it when you go, oh, actually, and the excuses tap in, and they're like, no, you're doing it. Have that person.
That's very important. I don't think anyone's mentioned that yet. Yes, it's very important to have someone keep you accountable. Of what, it's not, something that they're going to force you to do. It's something that you want to do. And so it's always good to have someone help you stay on track. And if they're in the same place as you, or anywhere near the same place as you, then you can give each other support and motivation to continue on this path, because like you said, it's not going to change overnight. It's going to take little steps, many steps. And like you said, it's important not to beat yourself up if you falter.
You fall off the wagon. And then you go, oh yeah, this isn't my life. Okay, my life is different when I don't do that practice. Oh, okay, what do I need to do? And it's the hardest thing I think humans feel, is to put themselves first. And it's self-love, it's self-nourishment. We nourish others, give love to others because we want to feel something back, but it's actually more simple than that. We need to do it with ourselves, really fill our cup, put the oxygen mask on, so then you're able to give to others.
Yes, funny you say that, because I just came back from a trip, and they always say the same thing. Make sure you fasten it on yourself first before you put it on, the person next to you, which could very well be your child or your spouse. And when you first hear that, right? And I've got, how many flights have I been on, and I've listened to it. I'm almost 50. So I've listened to it so many times, and it always kind of, I guess something inside me always says, put it first. You put it, you think automatically. Yeah. And so you're just like, what? But yeah, that's so important, you can't fill someone else's cup up, like you said, unless yours is already full. So
it's not your role.
Words. Yeah,
it's not our role. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Again, it was an absolute pleasure to have you here with us. And everyone, please make sure you follow her. You take advantage of her 20% off, and you look into the sleep yoga, nidra, sleep to rewire anxiety and depression.
I want to
thank you,
Monica. Yeah, gratitude for everything that you're doing, and that following that passion to share these messages with so many of us. I really want to honor you.
Oh,
and
thank
Deep
you.
gratitude for having this opportunity to be a part of something so beautiful.
Oh,
and so
thank you.
needed.
It's my honor, and it's starting to become my passion. It's wonderful. It was great having you, and thank you. And I wish you a wonderful night, and thank you all for listening. Don't forget to go in the chat and look for her information. Have a wonderful evening
Thank you.
or afternoon.